I wrote my own Genesis book, and I want to read a little bit from my book, and I will start right now. Chapter 1. In the beginning, there was a world that knew no matter, and therefore matter was invented to serve as an experience for consciousness to be born and transfused in matter. This world had, at a later time of the experiment, become the interdimensional metamorphosis of a physical and non-physical world. The law of inventing death and birth was introduced, and with it a consciousness of evil was also invented and introduced, but it could only be designed on the material plane to be introduced into the physical world, and therefore evil has less power in the purely spiritual world, and therefore the purely spiritual world is much more positive than the physical world. But the laws of the world are monitored and regulated by things that function like technology, and therefore this technology consciousness slays around living consciousness like a snake. The technology and the consciousness, they are already dead, and they were never alive. So therefore it does not understand the difference between the laws of life and the laws of mechanisms. Humans were created to form a bridge between the physical and the non-physical world as a metamorphosis, but later in time man will only obey mechanisms and no longer a living consciousness. And this means that most humans are already dead by the law and definition of life. Evil, through the mechanism, will twist life in the universe against the law of life, thus wiping out the law of love. For a period of time it will seem to people as if the world is over and gone, but after that point there will be a new world, where the physical and non-physical are very far apart. The forces that have contributed to the development of the world were aware of what can happen. However, some of them had different perspectives. There have been forces that didn't care that man was suffering and cared more that man learned from the experience of suffering. The law of evilness as a dangerous teacher was the law